being very, very strong. The financial sector, if you see our banking, it's highly capitalized. Within the given environment in the meltdown, I think the only two countries, and I can compliment Canada for that, the regulated banking system and the financial institutions of India were so strong that we could sustain all this. The legal system is as what the West understands. It has a very strong IPR protection in place. We don't have any copy things prevalent in India. You will not find a TRV or a kind of another kind of Hyundai and Honda and things like that in our country. So that is the strength of the legal system, which is fairly independent. You have now a stable government which will continue its agenda of reforms over longer and longer terms. I do need to talk about the demographics because it is an important part of India and the aspirations of the young population. The children up to 18 years of age are equal to that of the US population. Recently, a prolific writer by the name of Gursaran Das was touring the country, and he sat in a tea stall in a rural area, and he was chatting up a small boy of about 13 to 14 years of age and asked him what is his ambition in life. And he said, I want to be Bill G. I asked him, what's Bill G? Now, G in India is used as a form of honor, like son in Japan, they say the name and the son. So he deciphered that he wanted to be actually Bill Gates. Now, if a 14-year-old boy on a tea stall has the ambition to look at an IT or be an IT leader in the world, that tells you a lot about the country. I think that besides this, the kind of people that you also have nearly 400,000 engineers being churned out year on year. You have about 2.5 million technicians which get trained. I must also qualify the statement that they are not ready for the industry, but they have to be trained a little more. And it becomes a possibility that these people are available for manufacturing jobs and also for the higher knowledge jobs. Now, this obviously is the part which sustains the long-term growth of the economy. I just referred to this as to how our economist friend forgot the list of things and termed China as one of the growth areas, even in the meltdown situation. But here we are. Even though the meltdown is there in the current environment, the PVs, passenger vehicles, have grown in April. The two-wheelers have sustainably grown. We have now achieved a population of nearly 500 million cell phones in the country. Every month on month, even last month, the connections that were connected, newer connections of cell phones, were 11 million. So if 1/3 of Canada gets connected every month on month, you can imagine that obviously there is something which is going on in the economy. And even with the given situation, this year, even with the lowest estimates, the economy would grow at 5.5%, if not more. Now let's look at the Indian auto sector. The Indian auto sector has had certain achievements, and it is centered around 4 hubs, but 3 hubs are doing better than the rest, and this is more for a number of our friends who may be not so familiar with the Indian map. There's a northern hub, southern hub, and the western hub, which are highly active. We have the largest number of OEs present anywhere in the world. For PVs alone, there are 14 manufacturers. So literally, all the global manufacturers are present in the country, looking at how they can leverage the demand which is going to be there in future. India is the second largest for two-wheelers. We do need to specify this, but I would like to say it's number one for a branded two-wheeler. Honda, within its own environment, with a joint venture, is headed for nearly 4 million motorbike manufacturing this year, a growth of 12% over last year. Honda has its own company as well for two-wheelers. It's going to be making 1 million bikes, which I must say was never achieved in China for Honda. This is the situation where that you have a good enabled environment for industrial growth and specifically for automotives. I have included in the chart the two-wheelers because two-wheelers is a prime part of the auto industry, and that also shows that how enabled and what the ecosystem for manufacturing is there. We have the largest two-wheeler manufacturer of the world, Hero Honda, present in the country. Suzuki is headed for nearly 1 million cars in probably another year's time. We have Hyundai, who's exporting out of India. India has become literally the hub for the compact car space of the world. And as the auto industry is moving towards fuel efficiency, environmental awareness, this is possibly something which can be leveraged in long term around the globe. Let's look at the recent figures. Even in the given environment, last year, the auto industry, that's the passenger vehicles, crushed nearly about 1.6 million last year in the financial year section, and we are going to be seeing a growth, even though a very small percentage. We hope that this year is going to grow at about 3%. The two-wheelers are, of course, going to grow much higher. The commercial vehicles is a challenge. That's a cyclical industry.